Namaste. So family is a goddess, and this is something I've actually concluded, and I'm sticking to my guns and that conclusion in regards to gifts and abilities. And I did mention that I did a series. I may attach the links to those to that particular series. That's on my Agree Rich channel on YouTube. To this video and the other video that I mentioned, wickedness is mental derangement. Because what I've discovered, which I realize is so true and important to understand, is that when people are cruel, it means that not only that they're not vibrating high, but really and truthfully, authentically, it means they lack the cognitive reasoning of right and wrong, between right and wrong. And this does affect their overall psyche, their overall view on life, and decision making. And what seems quite obvious to someone who vibrates high, which, vibrating high does enable you to have a wider view and a greater perspective of things. It's like being outside of the box. Vibrating low does not, blesses them with the privilege of such perspective. I hope I'm not confusing anybody. It's after 1 a.m. I'm still sleepy. Was just briefly thinking to myself and just want to put this out there. And so it's really mind-boggling, to be honest, when we think about why people do the things they do. Because initially that's what led me to want to study psychology, because I've always wanted, to do science. I never liked the business studies. I'm very good at budgeting and, business consultation through, observations, keen observations and, proper reasoning. I don't gotta go to university for that. That's just not necessary. The first business consultants, which there were, obviously, who taught them, it's just wisdom, you being able to pay attention and draft logical conclusions. Period. Dot. I would have always wanted to be a scientist. First, it was like an archaeologist, and that was when I was a child, like 7 years old or something. I said, many times I would dig up in the yard in Kingston, thinking to myself, I'm gonna, stumble across dinosaur bones, for real. And then, my, interest turned to just being a general doctor. And I think, to be a surgeon, then to become a surgeon, and then that focus kind of shifted to, I think at a point I wanted to become a pediatrician as well. Believe it or not, some people may think I'm really, I'm getting that from some people, you know. But yeah, there was a point I did want to become a pediatrician. I really do love children. But I draw the line. A lot of people have tried to use their children, you know, to manipulate me because they saw that. They saw me exhibit them, you know, traits, and they thought that, okay, they could manipulate my life and, the direction of my life. And I was like, no, not because I love children, you're going to use children to manipulate me. It doesn't matter if I love somebody or something. I will never allow anybody to use that thing or that person to manipulate me. And that's a part of vibrating high too. And then at a point I wanted to, become a computer programmer, which is computer science. And, for a while it was, nursing. It was nursing, but, it was always something scientific. There was a point I wanted to become a chemist, but it was always something to do with science, and that, led me to astrology because, I eventually found myself having this great interest for psychology. Why do people do the things they do? Why do people think the way they do? Because you got to think a certain way to do a certain thing. And that led me to psychology, and then psychology led me to astrology. Well, I'm going to say first the intuitive arts and then astrology. From the intuitive arts to astrology. And I remember starting off, I mentioned this briefly, my tarot journey. Or intuitive journey, because I never started off using tarot cards. And I started listening first to this Caucasian British reader. And I don't believe she's on YouTube anymore. I feel like she has years ago ascended, because you eventually ascend, to becoming a an ascended master, which I've been seeing a lot of 333s, and 333s, 3333s, okay, since of lately. And years ago, I tried finding her again on YouTube, and she just wasn't there. I tried Google searching for her, couldn't find her. Of course, sometimes, these readers, they do change their, oops. Of course, my apologies, that they change sometimes their, their the name of their YouTube channels. But, I'm just sensing she's just no longer on YouTube. She's just not. But yeah, I remember she would always say, never give your power away to a reader. And then I came across this other Caucasian woman, and I think she was, American, and the accent was American, but I can never forget that woman, that British woman, her accent, and just how she would bring across the message, and how comforting her messages were, But here I am at astrology, and astrology has taught me a lot. The intuitive arts, not only astrology, but also the intuitive arts. And, at a point I thought certain aspects were just really bad. And then I, realized this is a part of ascending. That is not the aspects, it's really the frequency that one chooses to vibrate at in them aspects that gives off a certain frequency. Okay? I'm a sun in Virgo. Other people have different experiences, than they would with me, with other Sun in Virgos, or people who's got Virgo in other placements other than their Sun frequency. And of course, it's one's overall natal chart, the aspects, the degrees, um, the deacons, the of course, it is also one's birthplace, one's environment, one's upbringing. It's a lot. Let's really look at the placements and the aspects. Once you gel a particular person's natal aspects and placements, deacons, degrees, and everybody, and you gel them together. Even if we got the same placements, just considering degrees and deacons and place of birth, it's a whole complete different person. It's a completely different person. Still, with the same placements, with the same aspects, it's still a completely different human being. Spiritual being having a human experience. It's just different. And that's why no two people are ever the same. Some people are similar to others, but they're still not the same. Where mental illness is concerned, we all got mental illnesses. I said that. That too, I realized. We all do. Even the psychiatrists, these psychologists, these doctors, they too. And a lot of times people, they tend to, overlook that possibility, which is a fact, that we all got mental illnesses. And, these mental illnesses are not a cause for concern, aren't detrimental to society or the individual. Okay, it is only when we lose perspective and lose grasp of the mental illnesses, as with everything else, once you lose perspective or grasp, which is control us, then there's a call for concern. And then you're entering now into the realm of mental derangement. And so there are many people who, they tend to say that, they're mentally ill, No, they pass the frequency of being mentally ill. They're mentally deranged. Because they lost perspective along the way. They lost control, grasp of, these mental illnesses, which are gifts. That's what I'm getting into. These mental illnesses are gifts to aid us in this life. Like specifically talking about OCD, that one's quite easy. And I'm gonna do a series discussing these mental illnesses and the good that they do bring to the table. Like specifically speaking, OCD. OCD is like being the proofreader of proofreaders. I'm gonna just leave that right there. Now, when one allows, OCD to get so influential that it disrupts their daily lives, in which they're unable to be productive in other ways other than repetitively doing things obsessively, then that's a call for concern. You may find yourself entering the realm of mental derangement. That's the truth. As simple as, these mental illnesses, they seem, and, innocent, and, they can, expand into something really serious. Okay, guys? So, someone who's got OCD is an excellent analyst, is, excellent in an excellent proofreader. This person, they are an excellent detective, an excellent investigator, also an excellent, psychiatrist or therapist. Because these people, they pay very close attention to detail. Why they tend to be very repetitive in their actions, and it is to ensure thoroughness. Okay? These are gifts. They're not weaknesses. Anything is a weakness once you lose perspective or grasp of that thing. And that's for real, for real. Okay? Anxiety. I want to touch on anxiety. Anxiety is not a flaw. You know what anxiety is? When somebody is super anxious, what that really means, that's dealing with their heart chakra. And it's like that person, they got a very sensitive heart chakra. When someone, has a very sensitive, super sensitive heart chakra, it can result in anxiety attacks, most definitely. And what that means is this person, they are super empathic. A lot of times why people are so anxious, especially when there's an appointment to to fill, it's them pretty much beforehand feeling the energies out of what that appointment is going to be like, or the transit to that appointment is going to be like. It's like them emotionally predicting the future. It's not them being anxious or worried about what's going to happen. It's them feeling within their heart chakra space what's going to happen, what they're going to encounter, or what they're going to encounter along the way. Maybe it's not the meeting that's going to, be thrilling. Maybe it's the transit too that's going to be thrilling, okay? So that too is a gift of great empathy, of being able to feel energies intensely and profoundly. Okay? Being able to control these, mental illnesses is grooming your gift or your gifts. Because some of us have got more than one. That's what it means. Okay? And then, you find what was considered a flaw suddenly becomes an asset and a strong point in your character. Okay, so I am going to talk about more mental illnesses. Of course, I got to do more research in regards to the many different mental illnesses out there. Don't feel any way because you're diagnosed, with chronic anxiety, PTSD, anxiety, borderline, bipolar, blah, blah, blah. For me, being psychotic or a sociopath, that's not a mental illness. Some of these that they claim are mental illnesses, they are the result of, mental illnesses neglected or gone bad. Okay, like sociopathy. psychotic mentalities and tendencies. Okay? Well, like bipolar, that to borderline bipolar, those are mental illnesses. Okay, bipolar, borderline bipolar, those are mental illnesses. And with that being said, those are gifts as well. Okay, that needs to be groomed. Okay, gifts that needs to be groomed, and therefore, controlled. Okay? But we all got mental illnesses. We all got mental illnesses. And you having mental illness doesn't make you crazy, darling. Don't let them fool you. That's you being the spiritual being having a human experience. That's what that makes you. Okay? Now, a lot of times, these mental illnesses become mental derangement, and become a call for concern is when we lose focus, like I said, lose grasp and perspective of or on. And we be focusing on, things that won't aid us or aid our gift in any way, shape, or form. And that then, is when shit gets real. You start misusing your gifts and your abilities. And then you start blaming it on your gifts and your abilities because you didn't take control of their power and you allow them to go haywire. Okay? Not to mention you hurt a lot of people. A lot of people you hurt. So you gotta be careful out there. Okay? I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Namaste.